Come on in and welcome back to my kitchen. This video is all about how to make chinchin. I sat down and I thought about what would happen if I substitute some ingredients in my already posted chinchin recipe. And this is what I found. Today we are going to be trying to make our chinchin coconut flavored. Let's cook. You need all-purpose flour, granulated sugar, freshly grated nutmeg, salt, cubed margarine, coconut milk, coconut cream, vanilla extract or this vanilla bean paste. Yeah, I'll be substituting my egg with this mixture. All I did was add baking powder to water, and then I'm going to give it a whisk, and this is going to serve as our egg. So we're not going to be using egg like I did in my former chin chin recipe here. This will act as our leavening agent. The egg also has the function of this, which makes your chin chin come out very light. So this is what I'm going to be using for this recipe. Now we're going to go ahead and mix every of the dry ingredients together. Add in your sugar, your nutmeg, and you're doing this in no particular order. You can mix in any order you choose to. Then give this a quick mix. You're going to cut in your margarine. Now, the reason you're going to be cutting your fat into your flour is that it's going to help coat the protein that is inside the flour, which will reduce the gluten formation. And when you have less gluten formation, you'll be able to have a more crunchier chin chin. Next will be for us to hydrate our flour so that we can turn this into a dough. Add in your milk and your cream. So I like to add the cream to intensify the coconut flavor. Again, this can be done in no particular order. To stick to the theme, you can use coconut flavor in place of this vanilla extract flavor. Go ahead and mix your wet and your dry ingredients together. What you're doing at this stage is just to hydrate the flour. You're not kneading anything. You just want to kindly, gently bring this together into a bowl. It will first look like it is very dry, but don't be tempted to add more water. The lesser the hydration, the better the crunchiness. So you see how I'm gently just trying to bring this together. Kind of a similar motion with when you're trying to make meat pie. Flaky crust. You don't want to knead. You really want to resist the urge of kneading this, because when you do knead, it will form a lot of gluten and then it will be chewy. And our final result we're trying to get is just a light and crunchy chin chin. So once it has resembled a ball like this, I'm going to let it rest a little bit because that will make it easier for me to roll out. Now it's time for us to cut this into shape. Divide your dough so that you don't end up having too much dough to work with at a time. Because the more you re-roll, the more you are working the dough, and we do not want that. You have to flour your surface so that it doesn't stick to your work surface. Then gently roll out your dough. Again, the key here is for us to be gentle with everything we are doing because we do not want to overwork this dough. When you've rolled out to your desired thickness, I like to aim for about a quarter thick. Then this step here is what will give you like a guide as to having perfect square shape, especially for those complaining of how it's difficult for you to trace a straight line. So this just stands like a guide for you. We're going to go ahead now and cut this into the desired shape that you want. I always tend to vision my chinchin as African cookie, and the texture that you're looking for is always subjective. So if you want to make it light and crunchy, like that's the texture I like, you need to follow these tips that I've been sharing up till this stage. There are sometimes some people like it chewy, that's for their cooking, and some people like soft and not crunchy. That requires another condition that you have to work under. But if you want it light and crunchy, I beg you, follow the tips I'm sharing in this video, and I promise you, you would not regret it. One of the frequently asked questions I get in my other chin chin recipes is that do I need to put this in the freezer like I did? Well, the answer is no. Especially if you followed the tips that I just shared when I was making the dough for this chin chin. All you need to do is do not overwork it, and your chin chin will still come out nice and crunchy and not chewy. I like to add in a bit of flour into it and coat everything so to prevent like stickiness. That's just me. You don't have to do that. Some people don't do that, but I like that. Now this is how I cut this into strips. The tinier you cut your strips, the more crunchy it will get actually. But this is enough for me and I like the shape. Again, coat every of it in a little bit of flour to reduce stickiness. Temperature control is very important when you're frying your chin chin. I like to stay not go past 350 medium heat, because if it is too hot, which is my major concern here, your chin chin will get burnt and then it will still be doughy. Now if it's at least lower, all you have to do is that you stay a longer time to fry the chin chin. But if it is too high, man, that one is work. Oh. It will just brown and then it will still be doughy inside. After adding it in, your temperature will drop. What I like to do at this stage is crank up my heat level to bring it back right to about 300. And at that 300, then I just leave it to keep frying. Please ensure to stir at regular intervals for even browning. Once your level of brownness has been achieved, transfer this into a sieve that is lined with paper towel to blot out any excess oil. Go ahead and repeat the same process for the cubed shaped chin chin. Once your temperature drops, again crank up your heat level to high to bring back that oil temperature to 300 and continue frying. Stir at regular interval as well for even brownness. One of the questions I got a lot from my previous recipe video was that their oil foams. Yes, it does foam, especially when you add baking powder into it. However, that is why it is good for you to use a deep pot so that once it is foaming, it doesn't foam and foam over. So that is your aim at this stage. Oh, look at that brown, golden, delicious African cookies. Now, here is honesty. If you do not have a very subtle palate to taste differences, you really won't see the difference between you using coconut milk and you using the regular milk, in my book. So I'm still thinking about what I can do more that will make the coconut flavor really stand out. And I'll still be racking my brain for that. If you have any suggestion, do leave it in the comment section. Until next time, when I see you again, let's learn and cook together. Bye bye.